Hello there, what's up? How are things doing today? I figured my basil's looking a little bit sad here, so I sort of thought it'd be quite fun to do a really interesting and amazing cooking video, because that's what my channel's all about now. So we'll be preparing a fine feast consisting of many tomato-y things and some vegetables and some spaghetti and not very liquid, that's for washing things. I got an onion. I think this onion's been breached, so it might be a little funky, but that's fine. We've got some baby fucking sweet corn there, bit of celery, good bit of celery, and mostly the basil. I was feeling a bit sad. It's only a couple of days old, but I think he's lost the will to live there, so we'll have to try our best to bring him back to life. So obviously the first, oh shit, I've got a bit of basil on my finger. So obviously the first thing we'll want to do is heat up loads of water. Now I'm having to do this all one-handed, so you'll have to forgive me if I'm awful, because it's not something I typically do. I normally have two hands, so this changes everything. Oh. That's probably enough. Yeah, I quite like having my spaghetti nice and overdone, so I'll just... Which one is it? Fuck. This one? No. This one. No, just flick the gas on that quickly. It's always good if you're cooking pasta, put a bit of olive oil in, not virgin olive oil, just the regular kind. This is Sainsbury's own brand. You just put a bit of a dash. Oh god, I'm having to look through the camera. I should probably look in real life. That's probably enough. It just stops stuff from sticking together and makes it taste a little bit better. And on top of that, we probably want to put a bit of salt in. Here's some Sainsbury's own brand salt. It's some fine sea salt. That's right. That's the good stuff. How much do I want to put in? Just a little bit. Oh, yeah, just a little bit more. Go on. That'll be enough. And we'll just leave that. We'll just wait for that to boil for a second. Where's the lid? There we go. Just give a couple of minutes. Once it's boiled, stick some spaghetti in there. So while we're waiting for that to boil, we can chop all of our nice vegetables. So I've very brutally torn this celery off the base, because that's the kind of man I am. So I'm going to try and cut just the end of it one-handed, and then I'll look at this, look. There you go, and I'll just chop the rest of it, but you won't even notice. I'm trying to currently balance it on top of some kitchen foil, but it's a bit difficult to do. But what we'll do is we'll just chop off both ends. Well, this looks a little bit ridiculous from my angle. Just chop off your end, chop off that end, and just finely chop a nice bit of celery. Nice and rough. That's how we like it. Watch your fingers. There you go. Oh yes, and in case you ask, I did wash everything. It's not just kind of coming out the cupboard. It's a good idea. Always wash your vegetables. God knows what horrors might occur if you don't wash your vegetables. Oh god, these were not as crispy as they were the other day. Actually, no, these are fine. There we go. That's our baby sweet corn dye. You see, I said that. If this one, fuck, just try twist. Okay, don't worry about that. The onion. This is going to be fun. We need to go away, sweet corn. We need to peel this shit. So, don't know how much is caught on this little camera. To try and do it like this. Avoid your fingers. It's not worth losing your fingers to chopping a bloody onion. That's right. Fuck. Just leave those sections out there for a second, and we can quickly peel this little shit. There we go. That onion's done now. Let me show you the amazing, world's best method to chopping an onion into little pieces. I get that under the camera. Yeah, that's good enough. Stop zooming, by the way. Wish it zoomed out a little bit more. So you chop it in half, like that. You see, it's two halves, and then you do like a little incision down the side on the horizontal, like this. Not all the way to the end. Try and be careful with this. You want to just get it mostly to the end, like that. You see, horizontal slit like that. And then what you do is you go on the vertical, and again, not reaching all the way to the end, you leave like a tiny little gap. The smaller the gap, the better. You just chop out little slices like this, little pieces. Do not catch your little finger. So once you've done that, it's basically like this, yeah? Oh god, I'm starting to cry now. I'm so sorry, Mr. Onion. There you go, and basically it just cubes it for you, isn't that great? Oh god, it's making me very sad to chop this young onion. I'm sorry if I have to do this to you. Oh shit. While I was doing that, the shit's boiled, so like I should... Oh, this is a bit toasty. Where do I even put this lid? Whoa, that's hot. Oh, you're a bit hot there. So that's boiling now. we can put our... oh shit. Yeah, there's also not enough water, so I've just quickly filled that up. And see, I've got Waitrose spaghetti here, because it tends to be a bit cheaper for some reason. I'm not going to be able to do this one-handed, so you have to give me a sec. Alright, so like everyone on planet Earth, I can't get the right amount of spaghetti into the bowl because I fail as a human being. So this is probably going to end... it doesn't look like a lot, but that will grow up, and it will become a fine young man, and it will be too much spaghetti for me, I think. So we'll just leave that. We'll bring it down. It's not boiling again, but we'll bring down the heat a little bit. How are you looking? There we go. We don't want it to overheat, and I'll leave the lid off because this will take a little while to cook the rest of it. So if we just, yeah, I think we'll do. We'll just leave that to cook nicely for a little bit. Thank you. Right, there we go. That's 3 of our vegetables over. But one thing I'd recommend doing is having a little bowl to the side to put all your food waste in, because it means you don't have to keep rushing back and forth to the bin. We've got the broccoli to do now. This is a nice fun one. Should go back on there. Just aggressively just tear a few pieces off of this young broccoli plant like this. If you stick it in one of these little bags, it won't go soggy when you put it back in the fridge. Let's just toss that shit back in there. Always wash your shit. Very important. And we want to have these nice big old chunks of broccoli, I think. I'd always recommend doing broccoli last, by the way, because you always get these like little bits of shit stuck everywhere. So if you do it last, it means you have to do less washing up. You don't have to keep going back and forth and cleaning the knife. Wash your shit. And to cut parsley fast, you kind of just crunch it into a little ball like this, stalks and all. Don't toss the stalks. There's something wrong with you if you're doing that. You just crunch it into a tiny little ball. And you just chop away. And it basically auto-chops itself into a big pile. Then you can bring it back and do a little bit of back and forth action like this. That basically gets it done. I'm doing a lot of parsley here because it's got a nice flavour to it. I think it goes very well with basil and tomato. There we go. Wish I had a better camera, but you'll have to just use your imagination for this, I think. So there we go. These are what most of our ingredients are going to look like. If we had some If we had some actual tomatoes, I'd use that as well, but this is basically what I've got in my fridge. Peppers go really well with this, as do mushrooms, but I was actually going to make this with Porky. He came to visit me a couple of days ago. He doesn't like mushrooms because he's weird, so I didn't buy any, but I would highly recommend putting mushrooms in, to be honest. We will chop this basil up later. It looks a bit sad, so we're not going to cook... You never cook basil first. You put basil in right at the end, but parsley you can cook with the rest of it. It'll be fine. So, shit. Oh, by the way, this is what pasta should look like when you're cooking it. You see it's got this nice little foam on the top. Give it a little stir. Thanks to that oil, it won't stick to the bottom as much, which is a big problem if you ever have with pasta. A tiny bit of oil fixes that. Just leave it like that. A nice little simmer. Right, this is going to be a bit more difficult to do one-handed, but I need to flick the heat on. Don't want it to scald itself, so just like that will do. Just let the pan heat up for a second, stick a bit of oil in, one-handed oil action, there we go, that's what you've all come here to see. Just stir fry amount of oil in there. Might look like a lot just due to the camera, but it's actually not. It's quite a large pan, and we're going to be cooking a lot of vegetables, so that's about how much. We're not deep frying anything, basically just stir frying it for a second. So just give that a minute to heat up, and while we consider what order we're going to do this in. Okay, my device apparently got too hot. I've never recorded this long with my phone, and I've taken my case off, so hopefully it'll be a bit better now. But this might be a bit hard to record if it's going to keep turning off. Maybe I should actually invest in a better camera, but basically I'm just going to chuck this in there and stir fry it for like a couple of minutes. Let me try and do this one-handed. You hear that? That's a good sizzle. So just grab it with your hands like this, raw. Just dig your hands in there. As long as you clean your hands, this is totally fine. I'm quite a hygienic person, as you can probably put together. Quite like my hygiene. Just leave. Okay, I'm going to do the rest of this two-handed. Give me a sec. Okay, so I've managed to stick that shit all in there. Heat's quite hot, so we're basically just stir-frying it for a couple of minutes. I've just put all the vegetables in, none of the herbs, and I've also stuck the fan on because I don't want my fire alarm going off. There are people who live upstairs and next to me. I have this nice flat to myself, you see, but like, I don't have the entire house, just the downstairs couple of rooms. But it's very good for one man. We just sit here and stir fry this for a couple of minutes. Get those onions nice and cooked. Actually, one thing, shit. Okay, one onion's escaped. One thing we could do, actually, have a bit of garlic up there. Oh fuck, I can reach it. I actually just use my camera there to look up there. I'll chop a head of garlic, but I'll do this two-handed because I don't want this shit falling over, so I'll get back to you in a second. Okay, so that's our little garlic pile here. We just shove that in here. Little bits of garlic. I did some nice large chops because I'm quite a big garlic man. If I'm honest, I probably could have put more than just 2 cloves in, considering how much food we're making, but I'll probably be fine. I'll just sit here and stir fry this for a couple more minutes. Give the pasta a quick little swirl. It's a good little meal to make because it's very filling and it's pretty healthy, and you can kind of use whatever vegetables you like. Oh shit, these vegetables are going everywhere. It's so difficult to do this one-handed. Okay. Probably shouldn't be, to be honest. It's going to overheat my camera again and turn it off. My phone. I'll just sit here and stir fry this for another couple of minutes until those onions are cooked. Okay, so I've been frying this for about 5 minutes now, and that's probably about enough for what we need it to do, because I'm only cooking vegetables. Technically I can just eat all of this raw. If you're putting like chicken or something in this, I recommend either frying it separately until it's cooked, or just frying everything for a bit longer. Vegetables are nice because, you know, you can either overcook them, undercook them, not cook them at all, and they're not, you know, not going to poison you or anything. Spaghetti's done as well, but like, I really like overdone spaghetti, so I'm just going to turn the heat down a little bit more. See that little heat down there? It's gone down a little bit. We'll just leave it on there just to simmer lightly for a couple of minutes. Okay, so I'm going to be adding in some nice tomatoes, tinned tomatoes. If you're wondering why I've bought from Waitrose, or what Waitrose is, it's the posh English supermarket. Don't normally buy from there because it's a bit expensive. Tomatoes and pasta, 2 very cheap things. This 4-pack was like £1.50. That's really, really, really good. It's normally like 50p a can, so for posh tomatoes, and to be cheaper, it's a pretty solid deal. And I bought plum tomatoes instead of chopped, because they're better. These are better than chopped. You get more tomato, and I think they're tastier. And to solve the issue of them being plum and not chopped, I bought this off Amazon for a tenner, literally yesterday. It arrived this morning. It's like a really, really nice posh Russell Hobbs blender that will take your fingers off. So if you're a minor and you've got a blender, just don't use it, or get like a parent to use it. I don't really want anyone chopping their fingers off. But anyway, we're going to unload these cans into a nice like measuring jug or something so we can blend it. Okay, so out of fear of losing my fingers, I'm gonna like do this two-handed, but then if I find out that it's fine, I'll show a little bit one-handed. But basically I've just dumped 2 tins of tomatoes into this nice large old like measuring jug, and I'm about to hand blend it down into like a nice little mush. Okay, so that's nicely blended. It's nice, like a nice smooth, creamy liquid now, which is why I've gone for the plum ones and not the chopped ones, because this looks way nicer than the chopped ones, which is mostly just water and bits of tomato. This is just whole tomato that's been squished down. And what we're going to do is we're going to transfer that into that, which I've turned the heat off on because I don't want to burn it while I was doing this. You know, remember, turn the shit off if you're not using it. It's dangerous. Okay, this is a fun bit. It's adding the actual tomatoey bit to the stir fry. I'm going to try and do this nice and carefully. There we go. 2 tins of tomatoes should mostly do you. If you want to add another one, go for it. It doesn't look like a lot, but once we cook everything down, it will really mix together quite nicely. So we're going to flick the heat back on temporarily. We do kind of want to boil the tomatoes, so like that kind of heat. Pretty, I don't know, I'd say about half, 3/4 of the way hot. We're just going to mix this together nicely. Look at this. I'll hold the camera up so I can just do this. See, look, 2 tins of tomatoes goes really, really far. It cooks this beautiful looking thing. If I step out of the way, you're going to autofocus on that. Looks a little bit like it looks a wonderful bold red colour in actual life, but for some reason here it just looks like it's a bit grey. I might have to like fix that in post or something. Try and make sure no bits are going to burn, just pull them off the edge of the pan. It was a bit bad of me to let them stick there, but I was a bit lazy. So basically we're just going to sit here, slowly turning it. Might stick the heat up to full actually, just until it starts boiling. So you can eat raw tomatoes, but it's nice to give them a cook so they get a bit hotter, a bit warmer. So we'll basically just see what we're doing here. We're going to make a nice Italian meal. It actually starts to look like a meal now. So we want to add a bit more salt and pepper to this. I've been kind of lax on that, so I'm just going to... quite a lot of salt. Don't kill yourself, but like, this thing is really bad for letting salt out. So it sounds like I'm putting a lot of salt out. I'm really not. It's probably only like a pinch, but that, like the top of that's crap. It doesn't let any salt out. And pepper I can't really do one-handed, so I'll need to add more of that manually. Okay, by the way, we'll see it starting to boil now. So I'm going to turn the heat down, because I don't want to burn anything. It's important not to let anything burn. That's like a mid-temperature, I'd say. This is a gas oven, by the way. If you're wondering, oh, it's not working with my convection or my thermal image camera or whatever the fuck, you know, just you'll work it out. Keep cooking and you'll work out the temperatures for everything. I'll just mix that together so it's a nice little... Oh god, this could have really used mushrooms. Mushrooms, 100%. If you like mushrooms, mushrooms and tomato go together wonderfully. Just leave that there to just simmer for about, I don't know, like 5 to 10 minutes or so. It doesn't really matter, we could just eat it as is, but I really want this tomato to be nice and cooked. I don't really want to eat just raw tomato. So we'll just leave this here, occasionally stir it, and I'll be back with you soon, once it's done. I've got the fan on full, so it might be a bit loud, but you'll have to... I'll flick it down for a second while I'm talking. Okay, just flick that down for a second while I'm talking. Okay, so parsley's going to go in soon. That's been cooking for like 5 minutes maybe. The basil we're going to want to put in right at the end. Now typically with basil, if it's alive, this is like right near the end of its life cycle, so it tastes amazing, because for some reason when herbs are about to die, they like taste better. But normally what you do is you separate the stalks from the leaves, cook the stalks now, don't waste them, they just taste of basil but they're a bit hard. So cook the stalks now so they soften a bit and you can't really feel them, they just taste like basil. And then you add the leaves in right at the end. Our leaves and everything are kind of dead, so I'm just going to chop them all together and then add them in just before I take it off the boil later. So we've made a nice little like kind of basil, almost paste kind of thing we're going to add at the end. But now is the time to add the parsley, which looks like a lot, but again it will boil down to nothing. So just scatter that in nicely. Grab the rest of that. Don't waste any food ever. If there's even a little bit left over, at least like recycle it in the food recycler or something. Don't just toss it in the bin. That's a huge waste. There we go. Just stick that in there. My hand's covered in parsley now. God, it smells really, really, really good. Cooking tomato is like one of the best things ever. It just smells amazing. So we just stir that in. Add a nice bit of a parsley taste to everything. I quite like parsley, tomato and basil all go together quite well. Typically you think tomato and basil, but people underrate parsley. I think it's an underrated herb and it should be cared for a bit more. There we go. That's starting to look pretty good. You can't really see because of all the smoke. The camera doesn't really like the smoke. Neither will YouTube compression, presumably. Just turn that down a little bit. I want to have the heat on, but this is a really big hob. This particular piece. There's a little one, big one, and 2 medium ones. This is a big one, so while it doesn't look like it's on very hot, it kind of is. So I don't want to roast these tomatoes. I just want to lightly cook them until they go a little bit darker and they taste a lot better. There we go. Pasta. Still looking good. I want to add a little bit more water so it doesn't dry out. Just keep stirring it. If it runs out of water, then you're fucked. So you need to make sure it's always got water in there. This is actually pretty bad. It needs to have more water, but I think we'll be done fairly soon, so it should be fine for now. One other thing I wanted to do, add chilli flakes. I like adding a little bit of heat, not too much heat, but a nice comfortable bit of heat. Shit. Can't really do this one-handed. Let's try the other one. They just come in this little box like this. They're pretty expensive, no matter where you go. It doesn't really matter what supermarket you buy them from, but come in a little bag like this. You gonna focus? There we go. It comes in a little bag like this, and you want to shake it before you cut it. It just snips a little end here, as you can see. We're just going to add like a sprinkle. We don't want to make it too hot that we'll burn ourselves, but just adding a bit of powder and a bit of chili seeds in there will really give it a nice little kick. Don't overdo it, because if you overdo it, you won't be able to put it in your mouth. It will be so hot. Chili flakes, if you just eat them, loads of them at the time, probably burn your mouth, so be careful if you're adding anything remotely hot, but we're not adding sauce or anything, we're doing this all manually. So chili flakes is what we're going to go with. That's the wrong spoon. So just put those in and then stir them nicely. Oh, this is going to taste pretty good, I think. I'm also making quite a lot, because my intentions are to store it, so I can have it for future meals. This is something which you can really cook in a bulk, you know. You make like 3, 4, 5 meals or something, store it in a big plastic box in the fridge. Keep you going for like a week for dinners, basically. You know, very smart idea, I think. Cooking in advance. Just leave that for a couple minutes. I like these little handles. This is what I like doing. I like putting the spoons in the handles. I don't know if that's what you're meant to do. That's what I've always done. So I think this is nearing completion. As you can see, it's really simmered down to not a lot. So I'm gonna turn the heat down quite a bit. A couple of millimeters, that is. So we're just going to leave this to lightly simmer. And by the way, this is a good time to do loads of washing up while all of this is cooking. As you see, I've gotten rid of all the bowls, bits of food. Good idea. It takes like, 10 minutes to make this maybe, 20 minutes. So it's a good idea not to just leave dirty pans, because what else are you going to do? Just sit and watch TV while it's cooking? It's a bad idea, you might burn your shit. So if you wash up, then it gives you something to do in the kitchen, so you don't burn your shit. But anyway, what I'm going to do is try and add these basil bits, put those in. They look a bit dark and sad, but that's fine. Basil's a very frail young herb. It doesn't like the cold or the heat, or being in the air, or being in the ground, or anything really. Basil doesn't like a lot. What it does like is tomato. So you can give it a nice little bit of end of its life with a bit of tomato there, as we just wait for this to slowly cook together. You don't really have to cook basil. Just put the heat up for half a second, just to keep it going. And I'd say, you know, it's alright to use nearly dead basil, because it's inside of loads of other foods. It's basically just there as a nice like taste bomb, kind of, because it mixes so well with everything else. We've got what in there? We've got this celery, broccoli, baby sweet corn, tomato, parsley, basil, chilli flakes, salt, pepper, olive oil, which does have its own taste. If you were to cook this with coconut oil or something, it would taste less olive oily, I guess. So yeah, I'd say that's done. It smells about done. Looks pretty damn solid. Smells like really good. You can't really go wrong with cooking vegetables. They always taste just like fresh and happy. Now pasta here. There we go. So we're gonna. What else do we didn't want to add anything else, did we? No. So we're going to drain our pasta and see if we can let the magic work. Okay, so I've managed to produce the single best piece of technology in human history. It's a piece of toilet roll with holes in it, so it holds my phone up. Hopefully it means I can like do this. Should have done this at the start, really. Can you see that? Oh, you can see that, kind of. Let me just drain our pasta. Spaghetti. Shit. If you're wondering what the difference is between fresh and like dried spaghetti, fresh spaghetti like this, A, tastes better, and B, it's got egg in it, and it's got like other stuff, but mostly it's just egg. It's because it's egg and wheat pasta. Dried pasta's just wheat, so it doesn't taste as good. And it means it's got a longer shelf life, but like it's not as good for you. A bit of egg means a bit of protein and all that. This amazing piece of kit. The world's never thought of the world's best phone mount. I should have used this earlier when I was doing this, to be honest, when I was chopping on there. I actually just had it sitting on top of this. I just angled it like that. Probably should have done this a bit sooner, but yeah, that's alright. I think I just need to plate up now, actually. The rest of this is going to go into storage. But I'm going to put this onto a nice aesthetically pleasing pasta plate. You've got to do this when you're cooking. Oh shit, hello. Bit of broccoli. So that's looking pretty nice and solid. We've got loads of spare. Don't ever throw away pasta. You can just put that in the fridge, wait for it to cool down, fridge it, cook it the next morning. It's fine. You shouldn't throw away pasta. It's a bad idea. If you cook too much, I've made 2 portions by accident. That's fine. This shit we're going to put into a nice little plastic thing. Put that in the fridge. That'll keep us going. That'll probably last for like a couple of weeks, a week maybe. I'd recommend having it within a week. But I'm pretty sure I've made food and then had it go on for like months. Not months. So I've had it go on for like maybe a month max. Wouldn't recommend it though. It doesn't taste nearly as good as it is fresh. What I'm going to do though is add the final ultimate topping. That's right, we've grated a nice little bit of cheddar to put on top. You can't really go wrong with cheddar. I'd say it's underrated, but everyone likes it. Anyone who likes cheese probably likes cheddar. There's plenty of people who don't like cheese, obviously, but like, I feel like you can put it on just about everything, and it tastes amazing. Like, you can put it on toast, put it on tomato-y stuff, you can put it on tomato and toast to present a pizza. But yeah, that's actually looking, you know, not aesthetically pleasing. Oh god, that tastes really good, holy shit. I can't believe I actually made something that tastes this nice. Anyway, yeah, bit of an odd video. I know, I understand. I was recording it. I was trying to cook a meal that I normally do in about 10 minutes with one hand, and it took about 25. But that's fine. We've got loads of spare food. It's produced this lovely... I mean, I'm not exactly an aesthetically pleasing cook. I know, it looks alright. Just delicious. It's like, it's cooked nicely. You can't really go wrong because it was just nice, fresh ingredients, vegetables, pasta, done in the right way, admittedly one-handedly, so a little bit haphazard. But if you're doing this with your 2 hands and you're really thinking about it, you can make it look a lot nicer than this on the plate. I probably should have like plated it up professionally like they do on, like you see this little bit of stalk of basil or something. Just consume that quickly for some nutrients, and yeah, that looks pretty good. Really good. Put that in the fridge, eat that, and that'll be it. Thank you for watching this very, very odd video. Let me know if you liked it, because I might, I don't know, cook more in the future. I kind of cook all the meals. I live by myself, I have to cook all my meals. I need to clean this later. Remind me to do that. But yeah, let me know if you liked it, and I will see you all in the next video game that I play and record and talk over. Bye.